Good morning, everyone. Happy New Year's, or very late New Year's. Today, we're taking a look at the third Siren game. This game is called New Translation in Asian, Japan, and other areas of the world. Why in the U.S., if I recall correctly, it was called Cursed Blood. But with no number, it's still the third Siren game in the series. Now, instead of actually being more of a sequel to the story, it's more of a retelling in an alternate dimension. As the creators themselves said, this is kind of their interpretation of what America would do if they made a movie-based version of the first game. Because a lot of Japanese horror movies have gotten several movie adaptations by the US, but they were very, very different. So, don't expect a lot of new story here, though don't expect the exact same story either. You will see several similar locations and a few characters who seem similarly connected to the original cast, but the cast is cut back, the game isn't as long, and it's definitely more accessible towards the casual gamer. The character I'm playing as is one of the Japanese characters that was in the ceremony that happened in the first game. And Sam, who I just gotten, who's following me now, that's the point of this mission, to save Sam. But Sam and his family are the main focus during the game. Basically, their family went to investigate this town for a television show, news thing, and basically, as you can see, they got sucked up into the legend itself. Now, I have a shotgun here that oddly has a sniper-like view, and it is pretty good. That was a really quick mission. I did that one because it's in broad daylight to display the graphics and that much easier. You know, YouTube's compression stuff craps everything. The next stage was in the demo. If you had an Asian account on your PS3, you could get this. The demo, though, gave you a lot more ammo in the second part. I'm only going to do the first part of the actual level, where you play as Sam. Game-wise, this is actually the second stage. It has basically every time you enter a stage, it kind of has this television drama-like thing, where it's like last time on Siren, kind of like what Alone in the Dark did. Nice looking, but, you know, when you're a hardcore gamer, you're going to play a good chunk of the game, so it's like, I just did this, so I don't really care. I never really necessarily liked that kind of thing. But anyway, enough rehashing in that. Oh, and one more thing, if you didn't see the end of my last review. The third Siren game is only available as downloads in America. If you want a CD copy, you have to pick up the Asian or Japanese copy. I have an Asian copy, which is in full English. Subtitles and all. You will have no problems playing the Asian copy. So if you go to Play Asia or something, make sure you get the Asian copy, not the Japanese one. Anyway, the basic controls are a little more loosened for casual players. You're not as tank-like. Crouching and running around is a lot more fluid than it was in the original. That was fixed in the second game, but as mentioned in the previous review, the United States never got the second game. The dark effects are insane. I'll tell you, you're going to have to adjust your brightness a little bit on your television, most likely, because the brightness controls in the game itself aren't very good. So you're going to actually probably have to brighten your television just a little bit, because it is really realistic darkness here in these stealth levels. In this level, you start out with nothing but a flashlight, so you're going to have to be careful until you get your first weapon, which is shortly after, because this level is basically just a little tutorial on everything. Basically, how this stage goes is you just stealth by the first guard, you get the weapon, take out the second one, break into the house by breaking the lock with your weapon, But you can also find a few things in the stage, or even more. You can go back and knock out that miner right there and steal his pickaxe. Sadly, you don't get when you go to the next part of the stage. Anyway, basically, it still remains to the core of the game, but a lot more simple. You can steal weapons too, actually. Like I said, you could take his pickaxe. I believe I also mentioned this in the last review, that the sequel had allowed you to steal enemy weapons, guns, and whatever type of melee weapons. And there were a lot of variety of weapons in Siren 3, to the point where it actually catalogs them. But only stolen killers will have access to stolen weapons. There's no random generated weapons appearing here and there. The replay value is a little low, aside from collecting the notes and things that add a little to the backstory. The game is really short, where you can beat it in about 2 hours or more, varying on your skill and what difficult you're doing. Now, you can obviously tone up the difficulty if you really want to be more like the original game. Though it still will be easier compared to it, it will obviously be a lot harder. The lighting effects are quite good. Everyone gets a flashlight and, it'll aware presence and that. Now this is Harold. Harold is like Keo from the first one's role in this game. Now Harold gets like the most variety of weapons in the game of that. Now, this house should look familiar to anyone who played Siren 1, because it's the exact same house. But obviously, much more detailed and everything. With extra side doors and that to get out. You're going to see I'm going to go through a few different weapons, because my handgun I just had just ran out. I'm trying to remember where the key was to the upstairs. I haven't played this in a while, so this part that I was recording was a lot longer, so I skipped most of it. I couldn't remember where the key was. Anyway, put simply though, if you're a Siren fan, I would look up this game. It is a lot easier, but it's still a good game, and it adds a little to the story, but not really too much. It's more of a retelling with a few added twists to its own storyline and cast. Hopefully, this game taught the creators how to use the PS3 hardware, because a game does look gorgeously horrifying. So, hopefully, this will be leading up to an actual sequel to the storyline of a Siren 3. I give Siren New Translation / Blood Course in the United States a 3 out of 5. Its short gameplay is a big hit on the game, but it had much better voice acting, actually having the characters speak their native languages versus the British accents of the first one, Howard being the only one that actually speaks fluent English, but he's actual Japanese, which is the only real oddity in the voice acting. The actual Japanese guy I first played in the video you saw, he does speak English, but he speaks it in a I'm Japanese, I'm trying to speak English kind of way. So it's more realistic. And you have an ejective system, actually, if you notice on the side, the text pops up in the middle. But, not much more to say, really. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you look into the game.